Hey everyone, it's been a while, but welcome to my video for the launch days, or the first 2 days for Warlords of Draenor, and I was, luckily I was able to log in on the first day. This is on the Sarfang realm, and actually about an hour right after the Dark Portal was actually open. So yeah, I was surprised that I was able to get inside on the first day. I was expecting the long queues, which most of us, especially in the high populated realms, experienced in the second day or in the third day, where the queue times were pretty, or the queues were pretty high, and the wait was just really, really long. Anyway, yeah, I was able to get inside. I honestly didn't experience any latency issues while I was in there during the first day, but I did experience some frame rate drops, especially in the areas where most of us and me and fellow players just converge in one area, whether we're on top of one quest giver or one on top of one resource node or things like that. Whenever there's just too many players, you see that. So my impressions, it's been pretty good so far. I like the change in relative to Miss of Pandaria. When it started out, yeah, I know at least for the Alliance side where there was this this area in Pandaria, in the southern part of Jade Forest, where you had to drive off the Horde forces, and the first time you encounter the Sha forces. Here, it's a lot grittier, and you're given that feel that there's a lot of fighting going on, and basically there's this war that you have to fight off. Uh, I like the way it's presented, especially if you noticed earlier for Gul'dan, the way he was introduced. It's sort of like an in-game cinematic or a mini movie of sorts, where it uses the in-game engine to just introduce a major character like Gul'dan. So you'll notice that once you enter the Dark Portal, you'll be going through a series of quests where you're sort of basically given an understanding, or given the story of how things are playing out so far. And major characters, as I mentioned earlier, the way Gul'dan was introduced, will be introduced in a similar manner. Well, you'll see their name, and in a very short in-game cinematic. So that's a pretty cool addition to how you introduce your expansion. And in terms of just going through the content in Warlords of Draenor, as you're seeing right now, I'm just going through the mobs. I entered Draenor in, well, basically with an average of 550 gear level. And it's, when you're at that gear level, it's really, really easy to just go through the initial quests or the introduction quest, because, if I'm not mistaken, if you're just basically at around eye level 480 or maybe 500, it'd still be easy for you. So if you basically came off mop, or maybe came off a boosted character, it wouldn't be so difficult for you. I'm pretty sure of that. So the questing is pretty straightforward. It's linear, but the pacing is picked up compared to Mr. Pandaria. You kind of get the sense of the threat the Iron Horde poses. Without rushing it too much so that you don't understand what's basically going on. So right after you finish the Dark Portal introductory quest, you'll find out that once you'll be pushed out of Tanan Jungle and move towards Shadow Moon Valley, so which is basically the starting area for the Alliance forces. Um, and right then and there, you get it. You'll be pushed or sort of introduced into the concept of garrisons. Um, I'll be honest, before Warlords of Draenor dropped, I really didn't pay much attention to the concept of garrisons. I guess I was just simply stuck in the old mindset where, um, for PvE, where you just, well, it's basically just do some quests, and then eventually move on to dungeons, and then maybe higher level dungeons, and then eventually heroics, and then move on to LFR, and then eventually the normal raids. And then for PvP, I was just thinking, do your battlegrounds, earn some honor, earn some currency, PvP currency, and then eventually do move on to arena for to get better gear. So I didn't really think I was gonna have to do garrison right off the bat. Just very soon, right after in the middle of the introductory quest. So once you enter, at least for the alliance side, it's in Shadow Moon Valley. You have to do a few things just to set up your garrison, and I and here is one of the few issues that I noticed is that the way. Uh, resource gathering for your for setting up, just for setting up your garrison, it became an issue. Um, I'm guessing it won't be an issue in the weeks to come, but for now, during launch, it's become an issue because, for example, one of the quests there requires that you mark certain trees, and the way you do that is there will be silhouettes of banners or banner type figures there. You have to click on it. Now, the problem is because of the number of players just attempting to do or to set up their garrisons, only one of you can actually get credit for clicking on the banner. So if you pretty much at least five players just attempting to click that banner, you'd better hope that you're fast enough and you're able to click it so you could get credit for marking that tree. So I just this is just one of those things that maybe Blizzard could have thought of better. I mean, they did it pretty well with the major mobs. Any major mobs you encounter in the game, any rares you encounter, you don't have to get first hit to get credit. You just have to tap the mob. Basically, you just if you can just do one damage to it, you get credit for it. So I just wish they'd implemented that better. And yeah, I almost forgot that also one of the issues while setting up your garrison, it's not just that marking of the banners. One other thing is that you have to kill certain types of mobs. And yeah, and because they're not, as I mentioned earlier, for major characters or rares, no issues. If you just tap them, you're fine. But the problem is these are considered sort of minor mobs. So if you attempt to hit them and you're too late, yeah, you don't get credit for it. So that was, that could have been better implemented. Well, while we're on the issues regarding the launch, so I just, at least in this video right now, I just want to show you uh, the issue I encountered on the second day. If you can notice right now, my character just keeps getting ported back to its original location. So yeah, I was getting the transfer aborted, this is not found error. Uh, I also experienced an issue where if you took the taxi service and fly back into your garrison, you get frozen in the air. Uh, I wish I had a screenshot of that. That was pretty funny because everyone, I saw at least around 50 people just frozen in the air. We were just hoping that we'd eventually land in our garrisons. The other thing is that I think on the second day, the queue issues. There were a few already on the first day, but it sort of escalated on the second day, and mainly I think that's because Blizzard decided to lower the caps for each realm. And yeah, basically, I guess on the second day, the whole launch affair just basically wore the servers down. And I also heard and I read somewhere on the forums that it is possible that Blizzard may have been DDoS attacked during the launch days. So yeah, there were a couple of things that were really frustrating during the launch. But it doesn't really take away the fact that Warlords of Draenor has been a pretty tight so far. The way it's showing itself, minus all these issues, has been a pretty tight experience so far. It's been done really really well. Everything feels so smooth. I've On my main character, which is this warrior, I pretty much completed Shadow Moon Valley minus the level 100 areas, and moved on to the second zone. And there's just something about it that keeps you drawn in. Even the garrison experience is pretty good, at least for me. I like it. I didn't think I was going to be so excited about it, but it's really, really good. The questing so far just keeps you drawn into the zone. You don't feel lost at the story at any given point. So it's done really, really well. I just feel maybe the Blizzard could have done better in the aspect of preparing for possible issues. Things that they would have known, given that they've been around for around 10 years, and the last, if it's a confirmed DDoS attack, they had one about 2 months ago. I was just hoping they could have been better prepared for it. But otherwise, Warlords of Draenor, the way it's introduced right now, the introductory quest, just right after you step through the Dark Portal, it was done really well. It's such a smooth experience, and it just really makes you want to play the game. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed.